Well, it was okay. Let me just tell you the origin of the topic was that I watched Children of Men again.
Children of Bennigan's. All right, sounds good. Let's just start the recording. You can just go from there.
Oh.
Ow!
What's up?
See, we all did it that time. Last time it was just me and it was really loud.
Yeah.
Huh?
Don't you normally do the introduction?
Well, I was giving some room for you guys to, improv, have fun with it. Get a little noodling in. But you know what? It sounds like that's not happening today. So I just want to welcome all our listeners to our humble podcast, Mind Mode, the smartest podcast ever made.
Humble though.
We come to you, three heads of one beast, three hosts for one podcast. I am, of course, your host, Matthew, the one who is expected to introduce.
I'm
Joining
Michael.
me... and also...
I'm Stanlin.
Alright. We're all in here. So, do you guys feel integrated?
I
yeah.
feel like...
Are we combined?
Father,
I don't
Son,
feel
Holy
like-
Spirit.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
the holy
Okay.
and
So-
the father.
So I don't know about you guys, but lately I've been sort of trying to expand my mind, believe it or not. Trying to broaden my horizons and, just check out new avenues, things I might not have explored. So this week I've been listening to some of this rap music. You guys ever listen to this stuff?
Yeah.
Who's some artists you guys like?
Who we got? We got the Sugar Gang. We got...
Louis Vuitton.
Sugar Hill Gang, I think is the name you're looking for.
Shit.
Sugar Gang's pretty good too.
Leonard Cohen.
Okay, I was talking when I asked. I'm sorry,
Lou
Michael.
Reed.
I did say who are some of your favorite artists. I did mean rap artists specifically.
Okay. Well, how about who?
Lou Reed is a sort of a rapper, right?
Yeah, he does a...
It's
yeah.
spoken word.
Yeah.
Probably Rocky Balboa.
Anyway, I was listening to some of this music, and it just sort of... I was in the grocery store, and some rap song started playing. Don't remember what it was, but it just struck this certain chord in my brain, and I sort of felt like a ripple go back in time, and it kind of dug up this repressed memory I have from sometime in the 15th century. I was sitting in a parlor with the Comte of Saint Germain, somewhere in France, and he served me this dish, and he has the sort of dish revealer device. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dome.
There's a platter with a dome,
Yeah.
and he sort of he takes the dome off.
That's where Off Dome came from.
Exactly, and we go completely off dome from there. And he serves this dish to me, and the taste of it was absolutely the same sensation that I got when I was listening to this music.
So this is
And-
your Madeline cake experience.
Exactly.
In
So
reverse.
hearing Gucci Gang at Walgreens just absolutely flung me back, and it just occurred to me, this rap music, this is sort of like caviar to me. When I'm hearing some of these songs and some of these beats, this is sort of caviar to me.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, maybe as an extension of the podcast, we could, sort of a branch off, and I was thinking of starting this new maybe a line of clothing or maybe like a playlist called Rap Caviar. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Does it sound good to you guys?
What are you gonna put on there?
I mean, I just basically rap songs.
Is it all rap songs sound like Caviar?
Well, it's got to be a certain kind of sort of a thinking man's rap song to me.
Okay, thinking man.
I'm thinking Kendrick Lamar.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
Immortal Technique.
I'm thinking Eminem. Tupac.
Logic.
I'm thinking
MC.
Logic.
MC Chris.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Logic.
Who's another brain rapper?
I was
Young
thinking of
Thug.
Logic.
Who?
Young
Have you guys
Thug.
heard of Logic? You guys like Rick and Morty? Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off topic. But I think this is a really good idea. I'm surprised no one's thought of this yet. Rap is basically caviar, and some rap to me is caviar that I eat, and it reminds me of eating it.
Yeah.
What are some other foods that you can taste when you listen to rap?
I mean, one that jumps to mind is sort of a salad.
Yeah?
Sort of a salad with many ingredients.
So it's like a medley. Yeah, that's like when you have like
It's a-
6 rappers. It's like Welcome to Houston.
It's like a heterogeneous mixture.
Yeah.
Or not heterogeneous. Yes. That.
Heterogeneous.
The one like when they talk about mixtures in 7th grade science class.
Yeah?
Yeah, so that's what I think of when I hear rap, because I'm hearing so many different sounds and there's voices.
Some rappers now, it's not even a word. You might say like, "Guh," or "Woo."
I haven't heard those yet.
Well,
So, in conclusion here, I think there's horizons for even us mind motors to still explore, mountains to climb, new dishes to try.
Oftentimes when I'm feeling hungry, maybe I'm sitting at my computer, with the recession going on,
You
I
get
don't
your
have a lot-
bottle of caviar out.
I don't have a lot
What
of
is
money
caviar?
in the pocket.
Can of caviar.
Fish eggs. But oftentimes I don't want to get up and make a meal, so I'll just
Yeah.
listen to an album, and I'm like, ooh,
Exactly.
rice and salmon, yum.
Because sounds are food, and nourishment for the mind and body are basically the same as we've come to see in the last few weeks here.
I like those venues, like when I go out to the club and I just get like a cup of water and I just stand around for a little while and I'm full.
Absolutely.
I like the venues where you go and you stand around the stage and they just like throw shrimp at you.
Yeah, I love that when they do that. It's sort of like when you go to Waterworld and there's the splash zone. At some venues, you'll have a shrimp zone.
Yeah.
What? Are there any raps? Oh, Young Thug was talking about shrimp the other day.
And a
Well,
little bitty shrimp dip in the
Little bitty
T.I.
shrimp
song.
dip. Some other songs or other food mentioned. Filet mignon come up a lot. Chicken teriyaki.
Stir fry.
Veal.
Stir fry. Veal.
I have
Venison.
never heard veal or
I mean-
venison in a rap song.
I'm trying to think of the line. I don't know. Whatever. I've heard it.
Yeah,
All
I've
right,
heard
I believe
too.
it.
Sushi wrap needs to be a thing.
That's definitely
It's
a thing.
definitely happened. Yeah.
Get that seaweed salmon yummy.
Okay, well, we're not here to rap on the podcast. This is not the venue for that, I think. Woohoo! All right. Clearly, all of us are totally integrated, like I said before now at this point, so I think maybe we could shift gears here a bit. Stanlin, I think you said...
Shift gears. Are we going reverse?
yes, we're going to hit the brakes and go to reverse,
Well-
flip it.
How about you park it, buddy?
Anyway, Stalin, you said you watched a movie or something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know. I think this topic comes from, like... Okay, so... I watched Children of Men. It's one of my favorite movies.
It's a good one.
I've seen it, like, maybe 4 times now, including this last watch. And the last time I watched it, I was thinking that some movies, especially ones that are political or something, actually they don't even have to be political, but like some movies can kind of predict where things are going to go, more or less, or are going, and when you watch a movie like that, you're like, oh shit, like that. Well, okay, I guess like when I watched the movie this time, I was like, that they were predicting this kind of insulated European, like anti-immigration country, from like 2006.
Yeah.
It happened.
Right.
But then what I started to think was like, okay, well, they predicted it was going to happen in that work, but it happened anyway. So,
right.
I guess I'm wondering what's
the point of making political art if you can't actually affect politics by making a movie?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, kind of, but I don't know. It's...
Also, hold on, real quick. Speaking of Children of Men, did you guys see that article? Or I think I sent it to you, didn't I? About, like... No, I don't think I did send it to you. About how, like, men's sperm counts have, like, fallen by half since the 70s, and it's, like, continuing to decline. So it's possible we're literally just gonna have a Children of Men situation within like our lifetimes, maybe. Woohoo!
Why is the sperm?
Good stuff.
Why is the sperm count going down? Are they
plastics?
Are they like swimming away?
Plastics.
No, they're not swimming away.
We sit too close to microwaves all day.
Oh no!
Yeah, having a microwave in your home basically is a death sentence for your great grandchildren.
Well, live and learn.
Well,
okay, sorry. So Stanley, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just so like what is there some like I guess, is there like a hidden thing that, like an unconscious thing that when you consume a piece of art or watch a movie or something, that in and of itself is not enough for like changing? I think we should just stick with like changing you. I don't want to say like changing the world, because who knows about that. But like just for you specifically, or me specifically, like there are things I've seen or listened to or whatever that are impactful, but there's no immediate change to your situation. But I'm wondering, like, is there something that you have to do in real life?
I mean, I feel like this is a leading question.
I mean,
I totally would say, yeah, no, like, just, you know, experiencing art in and of itself is not going to change
people's minds.
Fundamentally, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or not just change your mind, like, well,
or go ahead.
it's not enough to affect change in the real world, I don't think. I mean, there's the whole, like, is it Brecht who said, like, who talked about how, you know, having, like, catharsis in art in a way, like, eliminates, your need to feel it in real life. So, like, if you see a movie where, like, there's some injustice, but by the end it's solved, it's like, mentally you're just like, well, okay, that's done. Like, I don't really need to do anything.
Right.
Even if you don't consciously think that or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, so he was against catharsis?
Sort of. I mean, I think a lot of his work was about... Well, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. I'm not super well-versed in it. But essentially that, you know, the catharsis you find in like some sort of triumphant narrative isn't enough to change people in real life.
Yeah.
I think this might be cynical. Like, I think the triumphant narrative is almost part of... I haven't really thought this through.
Go for it.
It's almost disingenuous.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right.
It's just... that it makes it even, like, sadder for me, because I can't even enjoy the movie. Like, if there was, like, a depressing... Because Children of Men, I don't think, has a depressing ending. It's like
it's hopeful, but it's not, like...
Yeah.
It's definitely not perfect.
This is what I think
It's
is sad.
bleak, but hopeful.
I'm happy that the movie's hopeful. Like, it makes me feel good, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not... To me, I'm like, it's not realistic, in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna talk just about Children of Men for a minute, I think...
Yeah, why
well,
not?
I don't want to spoil it too much, but the end of that movie...
Just spoil it. Just
Well, no.
we've all seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, you've
Just
seen it?
say, hey, disclaimer, spoiler warning, we're probably going to spoil some stuff in Children of Men, if you haven't seen it.
Well, okay, so the ending of Children of Men sort of... I'm not going to give exact specifics because I think it's a good movie you should watch, but the problem is sort of implied to be solved.
Yeah.
One aspect of the problem.
right.
One aspect of the problem. And only the, like... It's not... See, the thing about the end of that movie is this, like, social, political, like, conflict is still going. That doesn't really
Yeah.
get solved.
Yeah, that's...
It's only the childbirth thing that gets solved.
Right, that's like
Yeah.
my favorite part of that movie... Oh, crap, I can't... If we're not getting into specifics...
Just go for it. Just
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay,
Let's do
well,
it.
anyway, my favorite part of that movie is when the baby starts crying in the building where they're like exploding everything, and then everything stops. Like they just stop
Yeah.
for the baby, and then they walk out of the building, and then right after they're like out of the building, it just starts immediately again. Like the bombing
Right, yeah.
just starts immediately again. And yeah, I like that because the narrative doesn't like take the entire world with it. Like the world keeps going despite like the fact that the baby was saved. Like, yeah, I don't know.
So I feel like what you come away with at the end of that movie is not... I mean...
It's definitely mixed. It's not like it's not like you're like, oh, everything is like very, very good. You're like, okay, well, there are children now.
But you come away with the feeling that even in the real world, there are still things wrong for us.
Yeah.
Like outside, the movie is pretty bleak about what its outlook on not human nature, but like the current like world politics or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But even artfully pointing that out isn't gonna change anything.
Right.
I think like some of the most positive things I can take away from a movie like that are that what's the right way of saying it? Sometimes I'll start making, how do I want to say this? Like shortcuts in my thinking. Like I'll rationalize things that are just in terms of like world politics or like I don't know how immoral certain situations can be, and there's times where I want to like kind of what's the right way of saying it?
You want
I want to like stifle that opinion, but like or like stifle that view. But movies like Children of Men kind of bring that up again, and it's like, no, this is the truth. This is something you have to acknowledge, and like that's and what I think like a movie or specifically movies is. That is an objective narrative. Like everyone sees, you might interpret it differently, but everyone sees the exact same movie, and it's fictional. So it visualizes something that's like very difficult to communicate in words.
Right.
And
definitely, I know.
You can't really argue about what happened in the movie. So you can have like a decent objective conversation. Like it visualizes things that are hard to put into words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also it's easier to acknowledge those atrocities that are based off world events when it occurs in a movie than when it's occurring in real life. You know?
So okay, well
I think I was just gonna say the danger of that is that treating any like piece of media like that, like it's true, like acting as if everything that plays out in this narrative plays out because that's how it would happen in real life.
Yeah.
Also has a lot of negative effects. Like if you think back to like all this stuff about like Republican politicians bringing up like the show 24 and how he like uses torture to extract information as if that was like real proof that we should be using torture in real life.
Yeah, there are some negative consequences to that.
I mean,
but I'm just saying. Like,
I know what you're saying though.
Might...
It gives everyone a point of reference, like a shorthand to be able to talk about certain things.
It's kind of that like there's a lot of Guantanamo Bay imagery in that movie. I remember. I don't remember a lot of the movie, but it's kind of just. A lot of people are going to see the actual images of a Guantanamo Bay, and due to like maybe their political alliance, just actually deny the truth about what is happening.
Yeah.
But Children of Men or a movie, you can't. You know what I mean? Because the narrative objectively plays out in front of you. If that makes sense. Like it... And I'm not saying you're supposed to... extract exactly what happened in Children of Men and like apply it to real world issues, but it's like it makes it easier to process that emotion and maybe have like I don't know a constructive conversation about it.
Yeah, and I think that was
I don't
kind
think
of
it's...
where my question was going, or what I was trying to ask is like I think you need. Yeah, I think the artwork itself is not enough in terms of like... But yeah, I guess, I mean, even personally for you, is it enough just to see the artwork, or do you have to like discuss it, or like do some action, or like...
I think movies like that, it just summarizes a lot of like anxieties really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it packages up a lot of stuff neatly for you to be able to talk about them or whatever.
But it's also depressing in the sense of like, okay, someone's made a movie about this. Like someone has expressed this opinion like as completely as they need to, and nothing's been done about it. You know?
Yeah, that's what was kind of like. I was just like, like that. I mean, I felt that before for other art. Like other movies and stuff I've seen where I've been like, this is so like accurate and predictive of, you know, a situation or whatever, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think anything's gonna be the be all changer of like any of these issues that are occurring. But I don't think the world would be any better if we didn't have movies like Children of Men. You know, like I think it's doing something. Like it makes.
Yeah, it's like an invisible.
It gives
thing,
me hope. Like I'm happy that like some. Is that made by who's that made by? Alfonso Cuarón?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm just happy that like
I mean, this guy got to make Harry Potter.
Wait, which Harry Potter did he make?
Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, he made the third one.
Oh,
the best Harry Potter movie. I'm just happy that like
it's the best one because they wear jeans.
I'm happy that Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
I'm happy that someone like more mature and further down the road than me is, you know, still hopeful. That's my takeaway from something like that.
I feel like, if we're talking about this in broad terms, it's probably like on things on the scale of like world politics. It's hard for a movie to change anyone's opinion enough for it to actually like affect anything.
Yeah,
except the act of killing.
You think?
I mean, it did. It at least started like a national conversation and stuff, and they like had. But I mean, there's shit that happened.
That's also a documentary. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Anyway, keep going.
Well, I was just gonna say, like smaller scale things, I feel like are more likely to actually have an effect on someone that'll carry over into their daily life.
So, before we get to like, because I actually want to talk about movies that do that. What are some other movies like Children of Men, because that are kind of broadly discuss like all of the anxieties of the 21st century pretty quickly or pretty neatly? I don't even know.
Tough question.
I don't even know.
Like Doctor Strangelove or something.
Not exactly maybe. The 21st century.
Oh, the 21st century.
Or not even 21st century. Like
just like
any movie
time.
That's done that. I thought maybe this is focusing on one issue. I thought Sicario did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah,
I really like that movie in the sense of like Emily Blunt's character was kind of supposed to be like a stand-in for the audience member who's coming to a realization of like the drug war.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. And then they made Sicario 2, which looks like a video game.
Day of the Soldado. Where the guy's doing the fucking, like, what is that game called? The arcade game? With the gun?
House of the
Time Crisis.
Yeah, he's doing the Time Crisis House of the Dead finger thing with a real gun.
Oh boy!
In the trailer, incredible.
Even that
I feel like is just a great illustration of the lack of power of art. That, like,
they're gonna take like the most
at least of big budget movies and things like that. I mean,
well, they're just gonna take the most marketable elements and make a sequel out of it.
Exactly, and just it's almost like the like Alien versus Aliens thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. I might still watch Sicario 2. Like I could still probably get something out of that.
Yeah, at some point I'll probably watch it. I don't expect it to be the like deep,
blow my mind.
Dark exploration of like the CIA or whatever. But
yeah.
Well, that's another question. Is I mean, I guess it's not really a question so much as like the reason you can't, like the reason maybe that artworks shouldn't be their main focus maybe shouldn't be like politics or that kind of stuff is, or I don't know how to say this. Let me see. That like
they should focus on something aesthetic,
something more like the human person rather than like a political situation. Because
Or go ahead.
I mean, I'm not going to make any sweeping statements about what art should or shouldn't be.
Yeah,
here.
I think
I don't know.
I think political art is necessary. It might not be my favorite art, but
I don't know. What is
especially
political
since
art
we're-
though? Like what do you, can you give an example of what that is?
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, definitely Rage is the first thing that comes to mind. Killing in the name of that one song that they say is like the song every producer uses to check out his sound system. Can't remember the name of it.
Bulls on Parade.
Might be that one.
Good song.
Great production.
Frida Kahlo. Political
Is that-
art.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess so.
I feel like that's not in the same realm of what we were talking about.
I think
before.
she performed.
It's political, definitely. But
She
it's
performed with Rage at one point.
Not. Oh my god.
I'm just trying to think of other movies.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about movies here. I think one thing is, like, it's probably impossible to make anything super that's too incisive at the scale of the kind of movie that's going to be able to get out there and get into the minds of everyone. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure even Sicario probably had, like, you know, Department of Defense people, like, on set making sure, I don't know, the depiction was correct.
Yeah, I
according
know.
to them or whatever.
I get what you
Like,
mean.
all those movies have to have, like, advisors and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
You mean like if they're big budget?
Yeah, I mean, you can. I feel like there was a good article about this recently, but I can't remember where it was. Just about like how involved. Like they even had like specific emails of like things you couldn't show, and like Marvel movies with like it might have been Black Panther. I can't remember. Like depicting the U.S. military and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these movies are also like getting money from them,
Right.
To like to be able to have access to like I don't know the arms and whatever they need for the to be on screen. I don't know.
So, do you want to talk about movies that focus on one issue and do that really well?
Sure.
First-
you got any good examples?
First one that comes to me, I mean, this isn't, it's not even really political, but or kind of, Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably got something to say about that.
I mean, it's a yeah. And I don't know what I have to say in terms of this. Did it make you feel? Do you feel like it's changed you, like as a person, having seen it? Like, does it make you treat people differently, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it pokes a lot of holes in. What's the right way of saying this? Pokes a lot of holes in misogyny very well, and I think it humanizes the victim, Laura Palmer, very well.
I mean, I think that's that's definitely a movie that. So one of the things I will say art is good at is, you know, affecting the way you view other art. Like, without question, probably one of the best things it can do.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's something Fire Walk with Me does very well for, like, the television show that is Twin Peaks. It really sort of recontextualizes and, like, goes back on things that I think maybe David Lynch was uncomfortable with about what the show had become.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's just that gap of like, does a movie changing my opinion about other art, I don't know, affect me, affect the world, whatever?
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
It definitely affects me, but I guess my question is like, is there, I guess, is there like an unconscious kind of effect where like maybe the things that you do in your daily life don't really, there's no drastic change usually from that kind of thing, but like an unconscious effect in terms of like, like a change in perspective on when you see someone, I don't know, or when you hear about domestic abuse or something, and you've seen Fire Walk with Me, you have a different perspective now on what that means or whatever. Like but it's very subtle. Usually, I mean, actually, pretty much, I don't know what movie. I mean, maybe like On the Road or something. Like as a changer for like Janis Joplin said, like she read On the Road and like left her house because of it or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said On the Road. I thought you were talking about that the movie about the guy who like died in his camper. What's that called?
Into the Wild?
Yes. I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe I wouldn't go on a reckless vacation after I saw Into the Wild.
But anyway, most movies don't, or whatever artwork doesn't like make you make a drastic change in your life, but it's like,
I know what you mean though. I think maybe I'm being uncharitable, and it definitely is going to change. I mean, it's not like you're gonna, every day of your life be like, oh well, Fire Walk with Me taught me that I should be wary of certain kinds of behavior from men and how they treat women in their lives. But it subconsciously it is gonna turn some screws, I'm sure.
Right.
I think us three are like, we're decently empathetic people, and I think that movie it like narrativized the. Is that the right word?
Sure. I think so.
It just visualized like the cycle of abuse and manipulation very well. Because I don't know. It also just like changes your perspective on, like, Laura Palmer keeps giving off, like, she was the homecoming queen. She was she was like a volunteer for giving out those meals, but at the same time, like, she was like a sex worker and addicted to cocaine, and it's just, and I think there's like a really on the nose line in that movie where like one of the detectives says like blonde hair, blue eyes in high school could be like 50% of the girls in this nation or something like that.
We're gonna have some good lightning sounds on this episode.
It's storming. It is storming throughout Texas right now. But it kind of just
blonde hair, blue eyes.
Hey man, we got some podcast chemistry today. But I think it just
electricity.
It kind of just. That movie does so well as it kind of just made me realize, like, why would somebody act so toxically to other people, or why would someone want to manipulate others? Like, have they been manipulated before? Have they been abused? I don't know. It's just kind of...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Or that's all I really had to say. Because it's so easy to just be like, oh, that person's a scumbag, like, they're addicted to drugs, they're doing this, without... It's just really easy to just suppress that empathy and be like, just dismiss them.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons that art doesn't have that changing effect, like politically or whatever, is because you can just like ignore it, right? You don't have to, even if you watch it, like the first time me and Steven watched Fire Walk with Me, I thought it was a bad movie. Which, like, is insane for me to say now, because I've seen it, like, 3 times now, and I love it, but, like, it's... The meaning of the movie doesn't have to... you said, like, it's an objective narrative and everyone has to deal with it. I don't know if that's completely true. Like, you can...
Well, I mean, like... There's a chronology to the movie, and that, like, you can give a summary of the events that are...
Okay, yeah, you're talking about in terms of discussion.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess I mean in each person's head, it's like, you can process that scene or whatever, part of the movie however you want. And it can... it doesn't have to be like whatever the person who made it intended. It's just like
Yeah.
you can just ignore that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's definitely examples of it like backfiring. Like, for like a similar subject, you can look at like The Shining,
Yeah.
which is pretty much about not exactly the same things, but pretty similar topics or themes. Topics. What's the topic of this movie? But I feel like a lot of people who already are like predisposed a certain way come away from that movie being like, wow, wasn't Wendy really annoying? Why was she so annoying in that movie?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's like this woman who's being like psychologically like manipulated and tortured by her husband.
Right.
Like, wow, she's really shrill and annoying in this movie. It's like, okay, well, don't know if you really, yeah.
Doesn't seem like you got it.
And like that's what happens with like quote unquote weird movies, like David Lynch's movies, is like
That's true.
people are
yeah.
just like, oh, this is like just insane.
This is so weird.
Yeah, basically, it's just like, well, I don't want to engage with this because it's like,
Yeah, and that's...
I mean, it's basically because it
That's
doesn't fit into
problematic.
whatever narrative that they are expecting.
Right.
It's like,
Well, it's like if somebody isn't even willing to engage with like an absurd movie or something that makes them uncomfortable, how are they going to engage with something?
In real life,
Yeah,
it makes you-
uncomfortably political
Yeah,
or something like that. I don't know.
That's true.
Like that's like
Maybe that's yeah. Good.
I don't really have anything to say.
I was just gonna say maybe that is one possibly a strength. I don't know. Maybe this is not. Actually, I'm taking this back. I was gonna say maybe getting into these sort of narratives and being able to process that kind of movie makes it easier for you to process that kind of thing in real life. But I don't know if that's true at all, to be honest.
I think movies that can...
People can compartmentalize things in certain ways where they're like, well,
Yeah.
that's just a movie or whatever.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
problem is like... That's why movies, like, I enjoy that we get Sicario 2, Day of the Soldado, but at the same time, like, it's destructive in the sense that people can still just dismiss and be like, oh, it's just a movie.
Right.
It's fictitious.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't have both sides. But I don't know, I think a movie can prod your curiosity about...
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, there's just been movies where I was like, wow, that was really strange. I want to see that again. I want to see what else this guy has made. I want to see what this guy's opinion of the world is. And I think that curiosity can translate into other things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah.
Let's talk about... Or do y'all have anything else to say?
No, not really.
Let's talk about Shin Godzilla.
I was wondering if this was going to come up. So you didn't like this movie,
I didn't
right?
like it.
Dude, that's Shin Godzilla is my favorite movie of 2016.
It was very good.
still.
I don't know why you didn't like it. Okay,
Y'all
get into
get
it.
into it.
No, yeah.
Well, I want to hear what you didn't like about
Right.
it. Or, I don't know, should I give an overview of it first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here's my perspective on the movie, what I kind of liked about it. So Shin Godzilla, it's a Japanese Godzilla movie from 2016, one of the most recent ones. It was directed by the guy who directed the anime Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Ano Hideaki.
Yeah, Hideaki Anno. It's... I don't know if I'd call it a deconstruction of that kind of movie, because I think it sort of harkens back to what Godzilla was originally about.
Yeah, I thought it
In
was
a
like
way.
it felt like a remake.
About like, yeah, it is a reboot. Like, I don't think anyone knows what Godzilla is
Yeah.
in the movie, do they? It's not like, oh, he's back. It's like, what is this? We got to deal with this. But it's essentially a movie that treats Godzilla like a natural disaster, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the government's response to Godzilla. It's really like I don't even want to call it a political thriller. It's like a bureaucracy thriller.
Yeah,
Almost.
exactly.
It's like an environmental thriller too.
I just love the bureaucratic interactions in this movie. They were just, I don't know.
It has this really weird, like, dry sense of humor kind of throughout. Like, there will be scenes where, like, someone will, say something to the person they report to, and then they repeat it back to, like, someone else in the same room that they report to or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the sort of, I don't know, the fantasy of the movie is, man, what if we could, what if in politics we could sort of form these groups that could nimbly react to, bad situations and, like, solve problems using, like, science and, a cross profession, multi whatever group of people working together.
Multidisciplinary approach.
Right, that's what I was looking for. So it's sort of it's not like a traditional monster movie really. Like there are scenes of like Godzilla destroying the city and everything, but it doesn't like focus on that. It's not like a horror movie or anything like that.
I think bureaucratic. What do you call it? Bureaucratic thriller.
Yeah.
Like that's a very accurate description of.
Yeah, so I don't know what. So what didn't you like about it, Michael?
So I liked maybe the first 30 minutes. I did like. First off, I think there's like a propensity to think that everything Ono makes is a deconstruction. I don't think it really was. Like I
it's
think
not really. It's sort of, yeah.
I just thought it was like a Godzilla movie. I haven't seen a Godzilla movie. The biggest takeaway from this movie is I'm actually going to go watch the originals.
Yeah.
I have Gojira queued up, but I still haven't seen it. I agree. I think it was like a dig at like the bureaucratic mess, and I think it was a commentary on the... What was it? They had a tsunami in...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it is sort of about the whole...
And the lack of a federal response to that and kind of the bureaucratic mess. But I just... There were like... Now that I kind of look at those bureaucratic portions, like, yeah, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was just getting so annoyed.
All right. You may... So, you may have noticed we had some technical difficulties there as lightning blew my computer to smithereens.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I did lose power, so we're gonna go ahead and move the... I don't know, should I even talk about the Godzilla discussion will continue in the next podcast. So, look out for that one. Sorry about the abrupt ending to this episode, but... That's all we got, folks.
Sorry.
You're going to be able to get your full juice of cast from the next episode.
Guess you just gotta listen next week.
I guess you got to.
Bye.
Oh, I'm hanging off this cliff! Oh my god, am I going to get back up? I guess we'll never know.
Let's clap again.
Okay.